Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing today's uploads with Casually Explained Gen Z versus Millennials.
This video is sponsored by Incogni. When someone says that...
Don't forget to smash that like button, get subscribed, and we're in for a nice treat today. I've seen some Casually Explained videos on my own personal channel within the past few years, but I haven't done any for the channel yet, so we're in for a nice surprise. So strap yourselves in, don't forget, hit the like button, get subscribed, and if you really like the channel, smash the notification bell as well.
They're born in the year 2002, I automatically think, damn, this is the oldest looking 6-year-old I've ever seen. Well, I won't be using that one when they ask me about the island. I was born in 1996, making me just barely a millennial, meaning I'm somewhat of an expert on my older cohort who thinks doggo, pupper, adult.
Yeah, he's in the 96 era, so he's just in the barely millennial at the, yeah, I'm a millennial, but I'm the young one, whereas I'm Gen Z, but I'm the old one because I was born in 97.
And having an actual wedding to a real person they love is still a thing, while also being able to tell Gen Z that making fun of us for skinny jeans doesn't do anything. We inherited housing prices and 3 financial crises from the baby boomers. You will not even remotely psychologically affect us. You will not even remotely psychologically affect most of us. The first thing we have to do is obviously define the generations, which in the textbook is 1981 to 1996 for millennials and 1997 to 2012 for Gen Z. Problem is, it can be hard to tell when you're kinda in the middle, because to the outside observer, Gen Z might look...
Yeah, if you sit between, I'd say, 1992 and 2002, you're in that in-between generation where it's like, you're your own thing, because you're not quite the millennials that came before you, but you're not this weird Gen Z that came after you. You're in this in-between stage where you're like, I don't really know where I fit in. I don't fit in with those guys. I don't fit in with those guys. And you kind of hobble, you know, teeter-totter back and forth.
Look a lot older than they are on account of all the Botox and filler, whereas millennials look a lot younger than they are on account of all the Botox and filler, meaning you have to look at behavioral cues to tell the difference. Because us millennials are trying so hard to cling on to our youth, we're in fact only differentiable from Gen Z by 3 things: ankle socks, hairlines, and when a DJ says, "Put your hands up," we do it with an open palm, whereas Gen Z does it with a closed palm. Gen Z does this because you automatically close your hand when you associate with dropping down to the floor, whereas millennials raise an open palm because we don't think Black Lives Matter. While it might sound like I'm here representing my fellow millennials, I did only squeak in there by 1 year, and there are some millennialisms that are too ancient even for me. Take, for example, answering the phone. Why?
Yeah, I hate answering the phone. I hate phone calls. I hate talking on the phone in general. It just feels weird when I have to pick up my black brick, stick it to my face, and go, "Hello? Oh yes, hello, this is me. Yes, I could do that for you." And then, you know, it's like, yes, this could have been a few texts. Come on. Anything that could be a text message does not need to be fucking called for.
Gen X still texts like they have an old school brick phone, meaning all of their messages are like, "Yo, bring drinks, see you at 5, sunglasses emoji." Which is at least chill and straight to the point. Millennials, in contrast, have all evolved the 2-thumb texting technique, meaning they're able to send you a single paragraph-long text like it's an email that you avoid opening at all costs until you really have to respond. Gen Z, on the other hand, sends multiple messages to indicate
I definitely do that, multiple messages. Like, I'll say something, and then, or I'll click send, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't mean to click send, so now I'll need to send another message to clear things up and to clarify. But then my next message seems too cluttered, so I got a third one to throw in there too. And it's like, oh, whoops, now we got 1, we got 2, we got, oh, whoops. So I get the give and take of both sides of the non-texters and the non-callers.
Situation or a different thought, usually ending it with a skull emoji to tell you they've died and will no longer be texting you back. If you're a smug elder millennial who's like, why does my younger sibling send 4 messages back to back when they could have just typed it in 1 message? That shit is...
That's because they click send after they said, bro, guess who I just saw? And then they click send. Because they were hoping that maybe the other person is eternally online as much as they are, that they'd be there to reply, oh, who'd you just see? It was Raymond from high school. That's great. Where'd you see him? Outside at 7-Eleven. That's awesome. Unfortunately, he was homeless, so I gave him some change.
It's so annoying. First of all, if you're annoyed because you have your phone on vibrate when I'm texting you, you can stick it up your ass. Second, if you looked at literacy statistics recently, Gen Z doesn't know how to read, so they don't know how to punctuate.
Yeah, there's a massive group of Gen Z people who cannot read at the correct level, or even at the level beneath the grade they're in. They're like 2 to 3 grades behind, some even 4 years behind their reading level. It is actually kind of insane, and it gives you a pause for, all right, are we going to have to be driving around on the roads with these same people who can't read a book, also trying to figure out how they can figure out how to read, street signs?
In the first place. And lastly, multiple messages is clearly the superior form of texting, anyone except your boss, because it allows you to better punctuate your rap battles with the homies. If you think about it, line breaks are literally poetry. When it comes to socializing and how you like to have a good time, millennials and Gen X are notorious alcoholics, but Gen X also does cocaine and millennials instead do weed. Gen X are alcoholics on cocaine because it was the rock and roll culture of the time, whereas millennials are alcoholics and smoke weed because they all have anxiety and need to self-medicate.
And Gen Z just smokes a lot of weed
In order to socialize.
We don't
Gen
really
Z,
drink all that much.
Very gently parented, don't even pretend they'll ever own a home, and never socialize publicly, so they just take Tren, Zins, and Goon for dopamine. One thing that Gen Z clearly outdid the millennials on is their slang, because just like high school, millennials also blundered the language on more than one occasion, coining such terrible...
Yeah, Gen Z slang is unbridled slop. Well, millennial slang was at least something you could understand, even if you weren't actively someone who spoke it right on the regular basis. You could at least understand what someone was saying. When someone comes up, no cap on God, I'm like, the fuck you mean? What are you saying? Just speak English.
Turns of phrase as doggo, adulting, epic win, on fleek, it's lit fam, swag, I can't even.
Doggo, dog. Adulting, you're doing something grown up. Epic win, you did something good. On fleek, you looking good. That one there, I will say, isn't as easy for most people to get. Swag on the same route, it's not as easy to get. It's lit fam. It's exciting. It's fire. You could understand that one. You could plug the pieces together. You can't do it. Or you can't blank something. Yet, obviously, some of these are pretty easy to figure out. Others, on fleek and swag, not as much.
I did a thing, and calling any type of knowledge hacks. In contrast, Gen Z slang had a stranglehold on our broader vocabularies right away. For example, here's some Gen Z slang you hear all the time, which I will now translate in case it's not clocking to you. Let him cook. He's in the process of doing something well that isn't cooking, so don't interrupt him. She ate. She looked good or did something well that isn't eating. Riz. Charismatically flirting. Crash out. Mental breakdown. Shit slaps. It's really good. Fire. It's really good.
Really good.
Hits different. It's really good.
Really good.
Bussin'. It's really
it's
good.
Really good.
Gas. It's really
it's
good.
Really good.
No cap. For real.
For real.
On God. For
real.
real. True. For real. Facts. For real. Deadass. For real.
For real.
For real.
For real. For real. For real.
For real. One thing that older millennials have a terrible take on is that Gen Z has bad fashion. Gen Z has great fashion, especially compared to us millennials at the same age. Besides, when most millennials were teenagers, social media hadn't been invented yet, so instead of growing up trying to imitate the most liked Instagram trend, we had peace, contentment, and mixed and matched our clothing like a hand-me-down buffet exactly to our own taste.
And that's one area as the Gen Z level I'll never fit into any category-wise, because I wear whatever I want. Right now, it's a long sleeve shirt that says Andor on it because I like the show. Okay, and I'll probably wear another different Star Wars shirt in a different day. I enjoy t-shirts long sleeve. I don't really care much elsewise, but you kind of got the huge differences between the generations coming.
We didn't dress to impress. We dressed to express our deep cultural anxiety and fear of bothering our parents in case the baby boomers got mad at us, which they pretty much always were. You might not like it, but this was peak millennial fashion. To prove that Gen Z has better fashion than millennials, in today's social media, it's common for an influencer to be chatting up girls on the street like, "Yo, you're so pretty, can I get your number?" And she's like, "I'm 16." And the guy's like, "Oh my god, you can't be 16. What? I gotta get out of here, chat." Back in my day, you'd already know they were 16 because we were all ugly. Furthermore, Gen Alpha now thinks that point-and-shoot digital cameras give a cool vintage look, meaning guess what? Low-rise, bedazzled jeans are getting thrifted, and American Apparel hoodies are right around the corner. We are so back, baby. At the end of the day, ask most millennials, and we sort of feel we grew up in the best era to be kids, but the worst era to be adults. Gen Z, on the other hand, just thinks, wait, things were actually good? As an example, when someone says "Make America Great Again," Gen Z thinks you can't make something great again if it was always trash. But baby boomers think, I remember when me and Steve worked for Chrysler and Detroit was the richest city in the whole world.
Yeah, and then Detroit had America happen to it, and Michigan leadership fuck it all up. And yet, Hiroshima had a fucking nuclear bomb dropped on it, and it just shows to prove that it's easier to come back from a nuclear bomb than the failures of capitalism.
Bought a house for me, my wife, and my 8 brothers and sisters back when we were 23.
And
the millennials here
$3.
make America great again and think, remember the first 150 Pokemon, the Sega Genesis, Rock Band, growing up without a cell phone, when you made YouTube videos just for fun, getting free malware on LimeWire, using an iPod Touch to pretend to drink beer, how people would say, too soon. After you made a 9/11 joke, remember how badly we fucked up our teenage years, but it didn't matter because we had no social media? Remember smog? As I was reading this, I got nostalgic and remembered some more things, so I redid the video so I could keep going. Remember Deltora Quest? Ordering things from the Scholastic Book Fair? The Bermuda Triangle? Remember burning a CD? Remember CD drives in the first place? Remember when DLC was just another game called an expansion pack? Remember rewinding a VHS before you returned it to Blockbuster? I remember. Anyway, us millennials are going to go stare at the Winamp visualizer for a while. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. Now, unlike me and most of the people I know who can't remember anything, nearly everything that you've done online is remembered forever somewhere, which is why you should consider today's sponsor, Incognate.
And skip.
Submit your data online. That data would call you on to their obligated ages. While Google's plan, you'd rather information.
I wish it had the auto skip. Oh, that's the end of the video anyway. Oh, great. Great video. Casually explains a fantastic YouTuber. However, we are out of time for the day, and you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of it, and I will be back tomorrow.